Hi everyone, today I'm sharing my top 10 places to visit in Germany that aren't painfully obvious. That means your Berlin, your Munich, your Neuschwanstein Disney Castle, all gone. Why? Because listicles can be irritating enough without stating the obvious. Like, Berlin's a place in Germany to visit. It's got a wall, and now it doesn't. Well, mostly. Instead, I'm showing off my favorite spots around the country that I don't think I would have ever found without living and traveling around here for 4 years. So as they say, los geht's. First off, the Ahrtal. This has been one of the biggest surprises I've come across since living in Germany. I literally found it just by spending an afternoon scrolling and clicking around on Google Maps, so for once that wasn't a thorough waste of time. Turns out it's a lesser celebrated wine region that's just as worthy of your love as the much more traveled Mosel region. I've been twice, first staying in tiny Valporzheim, a short walk from the train station, and the second time in Altena for a trail race. There I am, feigning toughness. You've got hikes, good wine, and impressive sights. Suffice it to say, there's plenty to love about the Ahr Valley. Number 2, Baden-Baden is plenty popular with German tourists for some spa time and relaxation. Baden means bathing in English, so it's technically bathing, which I admit is a strange thing to call a town, but just roll with it. For me, Baden-Baden was a great jumping off point for the Black Forest, with plenty of short and long distance hiking trails skating across the hills and through the trees. You've also got great rail access to other destinations around the Black Forest, and even eastern France if you're so inclined to hop over for some stanky cheese. Number 3, Dusseldorf and the Rhineland. Yeah, I lived here for 3 years and I got part of the region tattooed on my right shoulder, but Dusseldorf and the Rhineland are not on the list purely for sentimental reasons. Dusseldorf really is a fun city to visit with a proud Japanese community serving up tasty noodle and sushi dishes along Immermannstrasse. If you're the partying type, it's also home to the Längste Theke der Welt, or the longest bar in the world. Basically, it's a bunch of bars in the old town that are technically connected, but not really, but a fun fact nonetheless. For me, my favorite thing to do was go for a walk along the Rhine or hop on the train and head south for a day hike along the Rheinsteig. 4, Heidelberg and the Neckar River. I admit that Heidelberg is on the verge of being an obvious recommendation, but it makes the list because it's a great hub for another long-distance hiking trail called the Neckarsteig. So after you've had a day or two to admire this university town, you can pick up the Neckarsteig from Heidelberg Castle and continue onward to lesser traveled corners of the region. Fun fact, Mark Twain spent some time around here trying to cure his writer's block, and apparently he got inspired for the adventures of Huckleberry Finn when he saw some river boats on the Neckar River. So now that's a thing you know. 5, Mittenwald. Most international travelers make a beeline for Garmisch-Partenkirchen when visiting the Bavarian Alps for the first time. I, however, followed a tip from a fellow travel writer and spent a few days in Mittenwald hiking in and out of Austria and devouring the best damn schnitzel I've ever had. That's cheese and blueberries, people. I mean, holy salivating goodness. The blueberries make it healthy. 6, Monschau. Monschau remains my favorite village in all of Europe. It's got that medieval Deutsche configuration we all love, but with its own aesthetic that I struggle to describe, so I just took pictures instead. From here, you've also got hiking trails going into the surrounding Eifel National Park. Monschau also makes an appearance in my Germany tattoo, so you know it's good. 7, the Mosel Valley. The Mosel Valley is a somewhat obvious pick, but I'm going to give you some recommendations that aren't overrun with tourists, aka not Kochen. It's beautiful, but the retrospective lack of social distancing makes me anxious to this day. You can always hike through Kochen to catch a scenic glimpse of town, but I spent my nights in Moselkern, Eddegeelle, and Beilstein. Moselkern gave me quick access to the ever-popular Burg Eltz, just go early to beat the crowds. Eddegeelle is full of Mosel wine to indulge in, and Beilstein looks like this. So yeah. 8, Quedlinburg. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if you've seen it before. The streets around here give you that fairy tale vibe travelers expect out of a medieval town or village. And hot damn, Quedlinburg delivers. I was dumbfounded that there weren't more tourists roaming around. I visited in late May no less, which is a month chock full of bank holidays in Germany. Not that I'm complaining, I was plenty content to roam around these streets on my own. 9, Saxon Switzerland National Park. Or in German, Sächsische Schweiz Nationalpark. Try saying that 5 times fast. This park is a world unto itself with its glorious mix of wild Utah's alien landscape and Pacific Northwest greenery. It's a short train ride outside of Dresden, or you can set up shop for a few days in a town like Bad Schandau. Whatever you do, just make sure you dive into this park for hours on end. Hike the Maleweg or Painter's Trail deep into the eastern edges of the park toward the Czech border, and don't just visit the Bastei. It's cool, but you get the same views around sites like Schrammstein. There's just no bridge, but there's also a fraction of the tourists. When I went, I was blissfully alone. 10. Usedom. Travel plus Germany does not usually equal beach, but it does in Usedom, a German island on the Baltic Sea. Yes, Germany has islands, and this one in particular is worth visiting if you dig solid, casual seafood straight from the source. Make like the locals and reserve your own Strandkorb, or hell, rock out on the beach in your birthday suit. Just make sure you're doing it in the designated area so you're not scarring a small child for the rest of their life. Not that I did that or anything. And those are my top 10 places to visit in Germany that aren't painfully obvious. Leave a comment if you have a question, or let me know what your favorite spot in Germany is. Otherwise, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss the next one. Until next time, remember that classic German motivational saying, Klein Vieh macht auch Mist, or small cattle also make poop. Cheers!